So the macro that we had recorded earlier was a absolute macro. Now we'll see how we can record a relative macro. Okay. So for that, first let's see what's the difference between an absolute macro and a relative macro. Let's open a blank workbook. Let's record a macro, which is an absolute macro. So we need to go to developer tab, record macro, my name, Control Shift and N. Description would be this is macro of my name. So you click on B1 and write your name, press enter and stop recording. Now, no matter which cell you click, so if you click on this cell and you press Control Shift and N, your macro would be recorded in B1 only. So, and no matter which cell you click on, your macro will be executed in B1 only. So this is what an absolute macro is. Now let's see what's a relative macro. So for that, first let's see what's a relative macro. Let's close this workbook. And let's open a new workbook where we can record a relative macro. So let's go to developer tab. Now there is an option here called use relative references. So we'll be clicking on it to record a relative macro. So these are basically macros that are relative to initial selected cell. So first you need to click on it, then record macro, then my name, Control Shift and N. Description you can add. This is macro of my name. Okay. Now click on B1, write your name. Okay. Press enter and stop recording. Okay. Now, now if you are on B2 and if you run the macro, Control Shift and N, you would see now you are in C2 and your macro has been executed. Now this has been done because this is a relative macro, not an absolute macro. In absolute macro, the macro would be executed in B1 only, but in relative macro, the macro would be executed with reference to the initial cell. So here my initial cell is C3, and if I run the macro, Control Shift and N, I would be in D3 and my name would appear in D3. Thank you.